Welcome to Ancient of Days. I'm your host, Tessa Dick, and you're wonderful. Come join me and learn about the things they don't tell you in history class. And learn that I'm not that great on the guitar, but I'm learning. Picked it up in high school, trying to pick it up again, and trying to pick up the pieces of history that have been lost due to forgetfulness or something more sinister. Thank you for joining me every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Thank you. I'll have to redo that and say only on freedomizerradio.com, although I am kind of on Blog Talk because that's who broadcasts or narrowcasts us. Well, today I'm going to tell you a story. It happens to be a true story, a history. Although you might think that you recognize it as an ancient myth or legend, trust me, it really is true, and you will understand that after I tell you, as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story. Well, our tale begins in ancient Thebes, when the old king has died and a young prince arrives from a foreign land. And this prince takes the throne and marries the widowed queen. They live very happily and have children together. In particular, they have 2 sons and 2 daughters. Now, this widowed queen happens to be the young prince's mother. And the young prince was sent to a foreign land as a small child because he was deformed. One of his nicknames was swollen hip or swollen leg. Well, this young prince lived happily for some time with his mother-wife, but eventually he went blind, and he was briefly imprisoned and then exiled. Now, I know you're thinking Oedipus, but trust me, this is not Oedipus. This is Amenhotep the Fourth of Egypt, and the city of Thebes was in Lower Egypt, which we confuse. It's in the north, not the south. It's toward the mouth of the Nile River. And here's another clip just to get you oriented to Egypt. So hang in there for about 2 minutes for this clip.
The pyramids and temples of Egypt seem as if they will last forever. But there are some monuments that vanished almost as soon as they were built. Miles south of the pyramids of Giza is Amarna. Under its desert sands are the remains of one of the most puzzling sights in all of Egypt. Strange things happened here 3,000 years ago. A new religion was born, a misshapen pharaoh died, and Egyptologists are still trying to figure out what happened. At the end of the last century, Sir Flinders Petrie, the founder of modern Egyptology, uncovered a vast lost city in the desert. It had everything he expected. There were temples, palaces, wide streets, but still something was missing. Gone were the scenes of the pharaoh smiting his enemies, marching into battle. There were also no scenes of the pharaoh making offerings to the hundreds of Egyptian gods. There were no gods. As Petrie continued to excavate, he was even more shocked. The pharaoh was shown as misshapen, elongated face, breasts, wide hips, swollen thighs. For 1,000 years, the pharaoh had been shown as young, vigorous, well-muscled, ready to go into battle. This pharaoh was shown as misshapen. It was almost as if a creature from another planet had been dropped in the Egyptian desert.
Okay. Now, Amarna was the city built by Amenhotep IV, the son of Amenhotep III. But he had grown up in a foreign land. He had returned not knowing Egypt, not knowing Thebes, not knowing the gods, and not knowing his father. In fact, he was probably raised in Syria, where he learned the religion of Mithraism, a solar religion worshiping the Lord of Light, Mithra, whose rays of light coming from the sun would reach down to the earth and give life to all that lives on the earth. Now, where did I learn about this? Well, from a little book that was published in 1960. It was written by Emanuel Velikovsky. You might remember him for his more famous book, Worlds in Collision. But he published many more books than that. And this one tells us that Akhnaton was Amenhotep IV. We know that. There's no dispute about that. But he also tells us that his story is the source of the tale of Oedipus. Now let's go back a little bit and learn about his father, Amenhotep III.